right, welcome back. We got another great one. We just got back from seeing Doctor Strange probably I think about 45 minutes ago, 30 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Um and this movie was huge. This movie was amazing. We're gonna kind of go through some things, give it a bit of a review, a bit of discussion, just kind of talk about it. I'm like kind of bursting at the seams, honestly.
I, yeah, you should have seen this guy in the theaters. He's like, I can't wait to talk about it. I just want to talk about it. And we're like, all right, shit, we got to get home now.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, let's just kind of start at the very beginning. With a lot of what you see in the trailer, which we have kind of playing in the background. A lot of that stuff comes from, a decent amount of it comes from the beginning of the movie, actually,
Oh, yeah,
just setting it all up.
we should say there is a spoiler review, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Just to say, yeah.
Filled,
Yeah.
filled with spoilers.
Yeah, we're just gonna openly talk about things and just our review too. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just wanted to
no,
make
you're
sure I
good.
was known in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. Spoiler warning right here. Um, First and foremost, the assessment we had when we did the tier list for all the Marvel movies that this would be an S tier movie is absolutely the case. This is absolutely an S tier movie. It's whew, we got a lot I want to go through, but so we start out right with just kind of this whole scene going on with Defender Strange and America Chavez, because Defender Strange really isn't in the movie very long. I mean, he's there to facilitate the beginning and the introduction of America Chavez,
Yeah, I did
basically.
like how it opened up, like no warming up to anything. It's just literally running and it just goes.
Yeah, it gets right into the action, and
Yeah.
immediately you feel this almost it's almost like old school superhero type thing where it's like just throw them into it, kind of like how you would have it on one of those superhero cartoons or something,
Yeah.
where they just, right from the beginning, it's like they're chasing a bad guy or they're in the middle of a situation or something like that, and then they finish that, and then it calms down, and then you kind of get into the movie. I loved that.
Yeah. And
And then,
we pretty much kind of know what's happening just from the trailers too and everything else. So it's not like you're confused and going, "Wait, why is he running or why are they running? What's happening?" They explain it really well. So within like 5 minutes of seeing everything, you know exactly what's going on.
yeah, and I mean, even if you're not, it doesn't take long for them to get you to a point where you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see what's happening. Obviously, if you're watching this movie, you've seen a lot of other movies. This is not your first Marvel movie. So you know that there's a multiverse. You know what's going on. You're aware of the chaos that's happening. So to see people traveling the multiverse doesn't really. It's not a surprise. It's not taking anybody off guard. So yeah, there. Eventually we find out the demon is being controlled by Wanda. Wanda is the bad guy. Let's talk about that scene. Strange goes to see Wanda, and just the
Yeah.
switch, the switch.
Yeah. Yeah. When you
I mean,
realize that it's not like pleasant Wanda or good, like the trailer,
yeah,
depicts, which is really awesome. And then all of a sudden, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you and I have watched a lot of content about this movie, probably enough to where we had an idea of some of the things that were going to happen.
Yeah.
A decent amount of the things that were going to happen, and it still really it paid off so well. I mean, just her, because it's a funny moment, right? They're just having this conversation, and then she says America Chavez, and he just stops and looks at her, and she's not even looking at him, and she's just like, "You didn't tell me your name, did you?"
Yeah. She's like, shit, I'm caught.
And I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah.
that that was amazing. Like they could not have done that better. And I already knew that she was going to be the villain, but they couldn't have done it better.
Yeah. For sure. It was really cool to she did a really good acting job too. Like her face like
Yeah.
changing, and like you could see like in this movie it's all about her pain. We all know about her kids and wanting her kids back. You can like feel the pain and everything too in her acting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not at all unbelievable or anything like that. It's not like, oh, it's hard for me to see how this person got here. The only perspective from which it's hard to see is where up until now she has been doing the right thing in the end, right? And even in this movie, she ends up doing the right thing despite doing all of the wrong things on the way, right? But it's all of the actions she's taking are very much in line. Dude, if I had the craziest, strongest powers in the world, and if you killed the love of my life, and you took my children from me, and I watched my brother die, I'd, I'd fucking demolish whoever got in the way of me undoing all of that. Like, that is,
Yeah, she's definitely fucked up from all that. Yeah, trauma.
yeah, of course. And then on top of that, the whole concept that the Darkhold becomes a part of you and kind of does its own bidding through you as well, right? It's not just this inanimate object or this inanimate thing. It is kind of a living being of its own accord with maybe not necessarily its own agenda. I don't know how deep that runs, but it obviously wants to do that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So, are there any parts of this movie you don't like or wish
I
they did something else or anything?
so I for the most part I thought it was pretty good. Or I thought all the scenes and stuff were pretty good. There's some cheesy stuff, there's some convenient stuff, there's some um like just situations that I don't know how to explain it exactly. Situations that I think it comes down to just convenient. They're a little bit convenient, but and then uh, there's this whole there at first I had to settle into the pace a little bit because it's very fast paced. So I had to
Yeah, I
settle into
agree.
that a little bit.
Hmm.
But then I do wish they had explored more unique universes. That is something I
Yeah,
wish would have happened,
that's yeah.
but
Instead of like
um
literally like the flashes from it's exactly the trailer
yeah.
when they're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
falling through like six in a row.
Yeah, oh yeah. Which it was really cool. I mean, obviously that scene's a little longer than it is in the trailer, um, but for the most part, man, I really enjoyed it. But I imagine you brought that up because you have something.
I guess mine isn't the movie's fault, it's our fault, or I guess content creators, or I'm sure there's a bunch of us that have watched all the quote unquote experts, and then I think they get your hopes up for certain things to happen, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's
So,
true.
but obviously, there, or as a community we're inventing those things. It's not, it's not like we were promised any of that, you know what I mean? So, and what I'm
It's
really
the
talking
expert.
about, I'm really just talking about all the crazy cameos and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
so it's not
yeah,
really
absolutely.
negative. It's more of like, I think I just got my hopes up, and I think that's going to happen a lot with people because of. I think a lot of people do watch, the big like Marvel or comic book YouTubers, and they,
Yeah, of course. I mean, we got a handful of them, but that's pretty much it. John Krasinski as Reed Richards. We got obviously Patrick
Patrick,
Stewart as
yeah,
Charles Xavier.
yeah.
We got Bruce Campbell as random guy that sold pizza balls.
Oh, that was
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
we got a few things here and there. I think that I can't remember her name, but Peggy Carter. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know what that actress name is.
but I think we got a decent amount of people that we didn't know about from the trailer, but we definitely did not get these just onslaught of characters that
Yeah.
a lot of the content creator world was putting out there as possible. But again, you're right. That's something we as a community kind of invented.
Yeah, it really spawns from the love of the franchise, or the MCU, and content creators know that they can come up if they're like experts on the comics. They have literally like an endless amounts of content, and they're taking stuff from the comic book world and bringing it over to the MCU, and then talking about how it would work. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, it makes sense. There's certain guys that I watch, like the comics book explained channel is amazing. The dude literally knows every single comic there is, and he tells his own story almost, with like, he doesn't just say, oh, I think these three people are going to be in it. He's like, no, I think this person's going to be in it, and it's because of this. And then he references like in the comic books how it happened, and then you start picturing, you're like, oh yeah, that would work, and then it just gets you excited.
Yeah, of course. I mean, comic books explain, New Rockstars, heavy spoilers. Those are the three that I watch a decent amount of. So shout out to them for sure, because they put out a lot of really good, just quality content about it. That it does serve to get you hyped. Sometimes you get your hopes up. Sometimes it pays off.
Yeah.
I would say that usually they're pretty on point. I mean, the only thing they weren't really on point about is some of them suggesting, just a bigger slew of characters, but the direction they were going was absolutely right. So yeah, man, the cameos we did get to the Illuminati.
That was awesome.
I felt so good in a weird way watching them die the way they died.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I wish they didn't use Professor Xavier in the trailer. I wish that would have had way more emotional, like, I would have had way more of an emotional response if I didn't know for sure he was already in it. You know what I mean? Because they also, they saved him for the end too, like of the end of the Illuminati. Like the Illuminati was already talking to him, and then all of a sudden, a delay, then Xavier comes out on the hovercraft, which is amazing. So it's a throwback to the 90s. So
yeah, that is very true. If they hadn't put him in the trailer,
dude, that place would have got even louder than it already did. I love going to those huge Marvel movies the night of, because the true fans are like the diehards that have the same like emotional feelings we have when certain characters show up or certain things happen.
Yeah.
It makes like a different event, than just going to see a movie.
Yeah. I wonder how they could have done that scene differently, where maybe, you don't reveal Charles Xavier, and maybe you have, is it Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Maybe you have her have a line or something, because I think people would be a lot less surprised to see, an alternative Captain Marvel in a multiverse. That wouldn't be that crazy of a thing to reveal. And then you do that, and then you still have Reed Richards to reveal. You have Charles Xavier, and you have Peggy Carter. Like, you have all three of those now that you're revealing all in that one scene, and then you go, holy fuck, I didn't even realize Patrick Stewart was ever going to be in the Marvel universe. Like, it was fucking wild. But dude, so can we talk about so I want to start with the director of this movie is Sam Raimi. I know, because we talked about it a little bit, that you're not as familiar with him as a director.
No, well, I know he's a horror. He's a horror film director, right?
Yeah, he's a lot more.
Because you can see it in here. There's a lot of horror, some jump scares. Like, it's
but still, quirky in a way. So you haven't seen The Evil Dead, but I really recommend that you watch The Evil Dead, because you will watch that and you'll go, oh, this is where it all came from, right? A lot of the way in which things are shot, the weird, trippy, just off-putting uncomfortable shots, all of these different things. That is his style. That is his everything. The way that you don't know if somebody's bad or good in some moments. You don't know if somebody's gonna pop off all of a sudden. The jump scare is still valuable and surprising, and it still has an impact. Like all of these things are 100% just really his style. And um, for me, the Bruce Campbell cameo was fucking awesome. Obviously, saw me in the theater, but
Yeah, you were telling me who he was in the theater because I didn't know.
yeah, but all of the violence, that was pristine. Fucking chef's kiss to the fucking violence in this movie.
Yeah, so Wanda basically ends up killing all the Illuminati one by one, and it's not in the normal Marvel. You get zapped and you're dead. It was actually like real life, like violent type stuff. Like Peggy Carter got cut in half with her own shield. Like that was amazing.
Peggy Carter's top half of her fucking body slid off of the bottom half of her body in this movie.
You don't see it, it's just implied. You know that the shield went right through her. Yeah.
You see a guy implode everything inside of his own fucking head.
Yeah.
You see him literally go,
Yeah, I think his name's Black Bolt. I think it's Black Bolt, the leader of the Inhumans. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, because who I forget who said it, but basically they're like, this guy can. They're talking to Wanda, and they're like, he can kill you
Richards.
with one whisper of his voice, and then she's with one whisper out of his mouth, and then she literally just says, "What mouth?" And then you zoom in on him, look down, and he has no mouth, and he goes to say something, and then he just blows.
You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me a lot of The Boys. Like in the way they'll just do something fucked up and creepy and weird, and then just it was. I mean, his eyes like went bloodshot. Like they really showed as much as
they pushed the envelope for PG-13. Yeah, for sure. And I bet you they had to cut some of that back. Like a lot of times when movies get ranked, get their rating, they'll actually say because you can only say like shit two times or something. You can only do certain amount of things.
No, you can only say fuck once, and you can say shit a lot more.
Oh, really?
That.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's arbitrary and stupid, but anyway.
Yeah, seriously. But I mean, I could see them like having to cut some of that back. I bet,
Yeah, of course. I was gonna say, if you say fuck once, we can forget about it.
Yeah.
You keep saying fuck over and over and over again, we're gonna remember.
Just say it really early in the movie so the kids forget what you said by the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dom, get in the fucking car. So yeah, she literally just tears them apart. Reed Richards looks like he's going through a fucking noodle machine or something,
Yeah, he almost looks like what I thought of it as, like, if you took a rubber band and you're pulling it, and each strand, like a strand of it's like popping off.
Yeah.
Like that's what happened to his whole body. Like
fucking brutal. I actually think one of the things I will say that bothered me, there's no chance that dropping a statue on Captain Marvel with the power level they've given her kills her. That's not
I
enough.
think they implied that the explosion weakened her to a state that then the statue falling would kill her. I don't know, but
nah, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, they should have killed her in a more
Yeah, they should have like peeled back layers and layers of skin one by one, or whatever. Like I'm just just giving out ideas for free. Call me Marvel. Like I'll tell you how to kill your fucking heroes. But but no, their willingness to be like, hey, here's all of these people. Like they're fucking dead. Amazing.
Yeah, right away too. I mean, within 20 minutes of their confrontation or their
Dude, she literally comes out and just snaps his fucking neck, Charles Xavier's neck. Just snaps it.
Yeah, it was violent too.
Oh, so good. So good. But anyway, yeah, that scene was gold. Um, and then the one of the differences from the trailer, Reed Richards is the one who says he just said it got out of hand or something like that. And
Yeah, that's right. Because the other, I don't know what that Doctor Strange is called.
Sorcerer Supreme Strange, I believe.
No, I don't think that's Sorcerer Supreme. No, Sorcerer Supreme last is in that micro universe fighting the Black Panther that has the
Oh,
Infinity. You know what I mean? They're contained. So I don't know
yeah,
what
yeah,
that
that's
Doctor
right.
Strange is.
Fucking
He's just
weirdo
a
Strange.
Doctor Strange that was using the Darkhold just like Wanda.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And I mean, he does just you could just call him Darkhold Strange, I suppose. That's
Yeah,
his
pretty
really
much. Yeah.
his defining character. Incursion Strange, maybe. That's his defining characteristic.
Yeah.
Um, but well, maybe now that I'm thinking about it, could he not have been the so he created an incur so no, because they showed them actually killing the sorcerer not Sorcerer Supreme, but they showed them actually killing the one that was on the Illuminati, so it wasn't the same one.
Yeah, yeah, they should.
For a
Yep.
second there, I forgot about that, but yeah. Um, the when they went into that whole, you know, incursion universe, that was just eerie and cool in a way that was very off-putting. Watching like the Golden Gate Bridge just coming into the street of New York, you know.
Yeah, it's right here in this image, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
It is
so
right there.
it's when you if you bounce between two universes too much, or if you're really powerful and you go to another universe, you can actually they say you're causing an incursion, and both universes are literally colliding, and that's what this
Yeah,
is that's what's happening in this universe,
yeah.
and
It's
it's crazy,
extremely
yeah.
cool. Extremely cool. I mean, just watching, it's almost like it's tearing itself apart. Like the visual that it paints is that it's tearing itself apart, even though you know that that's what's actually happening as they're colliding. It gives that visual that it's tearing itself apart and fading into nothing. I think their use of Christine Palmer was really good to kind of settle
Hmm.
that
Yeah, I agree.
arc, if you will. Yeah, getting
Yeah, I
her.
think he moved on now finally, so we don't have to keep
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
yeah. Replacing the face of the watch, the cover or whatever.
yeah,
Really good.
it signified him moving on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing that was interesting to me, they literally are like, "Oh, we got the Book of Ashanti," and then that's out. I
He
mean,
never got to like he held on to it, and
yeah,
then Wanda started attacking, and what they like burnt one page away or something, and that was
it
it.
burnt like all the pages away. So it's like, okay, I guess that fucking didn't really mean anything. So back to the Darkhold, guys. Like,
Yeah, that's
it's crazy. Yeah, there was a fuck. I just had a part I wanted to talk about, but the Book of Ashanti was a very kind of I guess it was a little bit pointless overall, but when they have that fight when he's fighting against Darkhold Strange, that
hmm.
music fight,
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what the hell, like what the meaning behind that was, but it was awesome because every time the notes would fly by, it would
yeah,
make a different song, or it's
I
really
love
awesome.
I love the sound design. I love, excuse me. I love the the score. So good. Very like almost cliche superhero type of score to it, with a lot of the big like boom, like shit like that going on. Fantastic. Like really fantastic with the vibe of the movie and everything. And then these whole parts of the movie that just feel like you're losing your mind, like like, what the fuck is going on? Like really good use of Doctor Strange and the whole aesthetic and the music on top of it. I mean, This movie was so good, man.
And I did love the few little like horror scenes, like when they're running from Wanda, like in the tunnel or whatever, and then they keep
Man.
trying to close doors, and she's breaking down, and she's looking more and more like a zombie or something. Like blood, she's covered in
Yeah.
blood, and
She's been walking through glass,
yeah,
just stumbling.
yeah, she can't walk right, so her legs kind of dragging, so it's making her even more like look
Yeah.
crazy. And that was, and then the whole suspense of like, did we stop her? And then everyone's real silent, and you don't get that in
Yeah.
a Marvel PG-13 movie.
No, I mean, hey, we just did.
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's what I
you
mean. Like
never get
it's
that. You
yeah.
never do. Yeah. When she finally, when she kind of like reveals herself, like, oh, she's here, she found us, and she just pulls America Chavez back by her hair with her magic. That was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there were genuinely a couple parts where I was like, oh shit, you know.
Hmm.
Um, really, really good. I think I'm really excited for Third Eye Doctor Strange. I don't know anything about that. I'm gonna go deep dive on a bunch of videos that explain
Yeah,
to
I
me
gotta
what's going
learn.
on.
Yeah, so basically, Doctor Strange ends up using the Darkhold in this other universe, which the universe he's shown right here, and he takes over Defender Strange dead body, and that's the zombie. Basically, it creates a zombie Strange in the normal universe, the normal MCU. They call it 616, and he's basically
So amazing.
he's controlling Defender Strange's dead body, so it's zombie. And he reminds me, I kept laughing every time he was talking because he kept getting more and more like blown up and stuff, and it was only affecting like half his face, so it literally looked like Two-Face from Batman. It was hilarious how you could see all this flesh was removed, so you could see all his teeth and
Yeah.
then his like ligaments and stuff. It was funny
So,
watching him talk.
all of that, I'm going to assume all of that was practical makeup and practical effects, as far as the look when we weren't seeing him in a literal action scene, which was probably a lot of CGI, obviously. But I'm going to assume a lot of that was practical because that is very much a Sam Raimi staple. Again, going back to the Evil Dead series, that practical zombie makeup, that very practical zombie look, is like a page right out of the book, and it's funny. It's so funny. So I have to make this connection. Obviously, this is a movie that in some way is about these books, right? We got the Book of Ashanti, and we got to use it against the Darkhold and all of that shit, right? And literally, the Evil Dead is this series of movies that are centered around the idea of the Necronomicon and stopping all the things that are like coming out of it and all of that. So again, like I said, you need to do
Yeah, I'm
some
going
homework.
to.
You need to watch that.
I'm going to.
It's wild. And immediately you'll be like, "Oh, that's the fucking pizza ball bender guy."
So that's basically when Troy was referencing Doctor Strange gets a third eye. It's I guess a side effect or something happened to him after using the Darkhold. You don't know this really until the end, when everything is supposedly back to normal. Wanda basically, I don't. She looks like she killed herself, but who knows? I doubt it. But to destroy the Darkhold permanently in all the universes, it looked like she killed herself. And then Doctor Strange is walking down the street, and all of a sudden he starts screaming and falls to his knees, and he looks up, and his third eye just opens up, and that.
Something I want to note there too is they play, I can't remember if it was a chord or if it's just a note. I think it's just a note, but they play like a very, rock solo-y vibe note on a guitar right during that part when it opens, like that, that
Hmm.
shit. And so good. Because again, it's just more of that, more of that
Jeez.
Evil Dead vibe, man. It's more of it. I'm telling you, it just hit on all fucking cylinders for me. So good. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the mid-credit scene and then the end-credit scene. Um, so mid-credits was when Doctor Strange is just walking through or walking down the street singing "Do a diddy diddy dum diddy do," And Charlize Theron in a purple suit approaches him. First of all, just touched on this recently. I don't know if the video's out yet, but talked about the Fast X universe and those superheroes crossing over in the multiverse, being a part of Marvel. And hey, man, guess what? There's Charlize Theron all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence. We're gonna see Groot is gonna grow into Vin Diesel. But anyway, apparently that is Clea. I don't know anything about Clea. I'm gonna
Yeah, I
learn a
don't
lot
know.
about Clea. But she literally is just like, hey, we gotta do some shit, and just turns around and opens up the multiverse. Let's fucking go.
With like a
And I
sword,
believe
she just cut into the sky and it peeled open and it was a
yes,
whole nother universe.
it was the dark dimension.
Yeah, it was
Dormammu's
where yeah.
dimension.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. But they're like, Doctor Strange will return. I'm like, skip the rest of the fucking movies. Let's get into this thing. That is, we've talked about this a little bit, but that is definitely just it's my alley. Multiverse, sorcery, witchcraft, craziness, whatever. That is my shit. I am about it.
Yeah, I hope we get to find out what's going on there before whenever the third one comes out, because they seem to do a trilogy for every character, so they're
Yeah.
obviously going to do a trilogy with him, so that might signify that like he's just gone from the MCU until his third movie. I hope not, but that could be it.
I don't think so. I have a feeling that there's a decent time jump between the very end of the movie and the mid-credit scene, because he opens that third eye in the mid-credit scene and he seems fully comfortable and in control with that, whereas
Yeah,
obviously very much wasn't at the beginning of the movie. So I think they set it
that
up
is,
to where there
yeah,
could
that
be a
is true.
decent time jump.
So everything
So
could have happened already, like what we're about to see in the next 4 or 5 years could have happened by then.
yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping, yeah, that there's a significant time jump that occurs so that we can have
Yeah, I don't want
more
to
of that,
wait.
because he's growing into one of my favorite characters for sure. Just charisma and ability and creativity of the movies and things like that just makes me really really enjoy that character.
Yeah, I agree. They're making him more clever, and then like his sense of humor's finally showing too. I think a little better. And,
Yeah,
I think when we were first introduced to him, he wasn't. Well, I guess in the beginning of the first movie, he was learning everything and stuff. So now that he has time to master everything, now his like personality could come out. So now that's what we're starting to see. So I agree. I like it.
yeah. So that's the mid-credit scene. We get Clea. Like I said, we'll do some research on that. But um, then we have the end credit scene, um, which probably
After
didn't
all the
hit
credits,
home.
basically.
Yeah, probably didn't hit home as much for you,
No,
but
no, it was still
a
funny though.
pretty big part of, so when he starts punching himself in the face because Doctor Strange has like controlled his hands or whatever, that is directly from Evil Dead. That is literally exactly what happens in Evil Dead, where he has a fist that just turns on him. Like
Uh,
the demons are like controlling his arm or whatever, and he's just punching himself. So when he is still punching himself and he's just tired of it, it literally is like a scene right out of Evil Dead.
and then he
And then he
screamed, "It's
just,
finally over." So that's even
yeah,
more talking about the other call back to the other movies too. Then I didn't know that. I was more thinking just what Doctor Strange said, it would stop after 3 weeks or something.
yeah, yeah. It's been going on since 1981. But yeah, that really hit home for me. But notably, he breaks the fourth wall. So here's the
Hmm.
question I pose: is that a teaser for Deadpool to join the MCU?
Yeah, that's what everyone. There's gonna be so many videos.
He breaks the fourth wall. It's gotta be Deadpool. That's the title.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much our full review on it, without literally going scene by scene. But
Give it
it's
a give it a rating out of 10.
oh, it's an easy 9 for sure.
100% dead on. Yep.
I think it could have been longer, honestly. Which that's when you know the movie's good, when you leave going, I could have watched another hour of
Make it
like go
as
to like three other universes in an hour, and I would have been chilling there.
make it as long as the Batman. Let's fucking go, dude.
Yeah. No, but that it was that good where it can do that, and then movies are. It's really rare for a movie to.
Yep.
Actually, you actually say I want to see it longer. I mean, there's only a few movies I've been to where I'm like, man, I really want to watch more of that. So
They were doing the closing scenes, and I was just like, "Oh, really?"
I think I checked. Oh, my watch. I forgot to put my watch on silent.
You're a piece of shit.
my watch went off, and I just happened to like clear the notifications, and I just glanced at the clock, and I was like, oh my god, there's only, I think I said in my head like 20 minutes, and I got sad, and I'm like, shit, here we go.
Yeah, man. Amazing movie, amazing time. We'll definitely be watching again over and over.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I can't wait to, well, I want to watch it again so I can kind of pick out different, I like watching those big movies multiple times, because then I can pay attention to different scenes.
Yeah.
So,
I'm literally gonna go now and just start watching a bunch of videos on it.
yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, let us know what you think, and do you think this is the best Marvel movie? Because it's pretty close to being up there. So just let us know, and we'll catch you guys later.